Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, the one and only hosting Cruz, bringing you another exciting edition of boxing. Don't forget to hit and like, subscribe to my channel. It's always greatly appreciated. Stay tuned. Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, hosting Cruz, and guys, I am here to talk about an interesting fight that's likely to take place, um, obviously in 2025. At 115 pounds for the WBO World Junior Bantamweight title that is currently held by South Africa's Phumelele Cafu. 11-0, 3 KOs, well, 3 draws. Um, who's a pretty good fighter. Pretty good fighter. Um, Phumelele Cafu, very hard first name to pronounce, was last seen in Japan taking away Kosai Tanaka's title by decision, dropping Kosai Tanaka um, with a looping overhand right on the chin. Down goes Tanaka, and but prior to the knockdown, it was a tremendous back and forth fight, and even after the knockdown, back and forth, it was a pretty good fight, um, and it was an upset. Kafu was really a nobody. I mean, he was ranked, but never been a world champion. Kosai Tanaka, it was in Japan, and Kosai Tanaka was the favorite coming in, and Kafu knocked him off and spoiled the party in Japan. Became new champion, and as you can see, the disappointment in Tanaka's face. Um, so yeah, Kafu is a pretty good fighter, man. Pretty good fighter. That was my first time seeing him fight, and I was really impressed, man. Good, excellent boxer puncher. Likes to mix it up. Um, Young, strong lion, man. But now he's getting ready to face his biggest challenge to date in future Hall of Famer, first ballot future Hall of Famer, then number one pound for pound fighter in the world, Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez, 4 division world champion, and true one of the best action fighters in the sport, and one of my favorite fighters. I'll not forget when Chocolatito burst on the scene against Edgar Sosa in HBO. He was the co-main event for Triple G at the Forum in California. And that was the start of something great in U.S. territory, because prior to that, Chocolatito never really fought in America. And that was his debut on HBO, and he just blew the roof off of the Forum and my eyes, because I was just highly impressed with what I saw. The barrage of punches, combinations, the pressure, the uppercut hooks, the angles, moving out of punching range, while being on the defense and offense at the same time. Something I've never seen before. It was just incredible stuff. And like I said, that was just the start of something tremendous on HBO. And eventually, Chocolatito started to become the co-main event to many Triple G fights. Um, and it became little drama show and big drama show. You got little drama show with Chocolatito and big drama show with Triple G in the main event. And that was the thing for a few years. Chocolatito is one of the all-time greats in the sport of boxing. I mean, what else can you say? 4 division world champion. Then before, back in 2016, he was the number one pound for pound fighter. Because Floyd Mayweather had retired then. His last true fight was against Andre Berto in 2015. So right after Floyd retired, Chocolatito took his spot as the number one pound for pound fighter. And I remember for some time when I would look at the pound for pound rankings during those times, Chocolatito's name will always pop up, top 10 pound per pound, and he will always be like number one. And the crazy thing about it is that I had never seen him fight during those times. I would look at the list and I'll be like, but I'll be curious, like, who's this little guy? He's always here, pound for pound. And you will have Canelo on that list, Triple G on that list, and Chocolatito is like, and this little um guy with the nice straight hair from Nicaragua, um, brown skin, all that stuff. I'm like, who's this guy? I've never seen him fight, but he's always here in the pound for pound rankings. Number one. And he's number one. He's not just 10, 5, he's number one. So I looked at some highlights and then his HBO debut came against Edgar Sosa. And I'm like, whoa, yeah, it's for real. And he started to rack up tremendous wins over McJoe Arroyo, Brian Valoria, um, Carlos Cuadras, where he became four division world champion. So many tremendous fights that he has given us. Pure, nothing but pure action. His wars against Surkasit Surangvisai from Thailand. His brutal fight at Madison Square Garden on Triple G undercard against David Lemieux. That was a fight of the year contender, and to me, it was the best fight that year. But Chocolatito has been in some tremendous fights, tremendous wars, and at 30, he is 30 guys, 37. With a lot of wars in his arsenal, in his baggage, four division world titles, the only Nicaraguan fighter in the history of Nicaraguan boxing to do so. And in my opinion, Alex Arguello is an all-time great, obviously one of the greatest fighters ever in the history of the sport. But Chocolatito, due to his accomplishments, being the first four division world champion out of the country, he is the best Nicaraguan fighter ever. And for a guy his size, it's amazing. But yeah, like I said, he's one of my favorite fighters, and the curtain is closing on the career of Chocolatito, 37 years old, and it's interesting to see him back in the world title scene at 37. I mean, what more that he has left in the tank after all the wars he's been in, and rough physical fights. You know, the 3-1 Francisco Estrada fights, the Akira Yagashi, the Rung Visai, the yeah, he's had a long career, guys. He's had a long career. You know, 52 wins, 4 losses, 42 knockouts, 56 total professional fights. Um, at 37 years old, what's left? And it's a good question because he's facing Phumelele Cafu, who is no joke, who's much younger than Chocolatito, who can box, who can punch, who's got a good left hook, nice overhand right, and mix it up well, and is a fresher fighter. So if you ask me who will win this fight, if this was back in 2016, 2017, my best bet would be Chocolatito to win this fight. But at 37, a fight like this is gonna test a lot of Chocolatito. His will, his heart, how much more does he want to be? How much he's gonna show us? How much fight does he have left in him? Because Cafu is gonna show us a lot. He's gonna answer a lot of questions for us of how much Chocolatito has left. Like how much does he really want to fight? How much more, you know? And if Chocolatito was to win this fight, it just icing on the cake of a great career, cherry on top, and of course becoming world champion again. Um, I will favor him to win this fight, but then again, I'll give Kafu a chance to win this fight just because of being the fresher fighter. He's no slouch, you know, beating a good fighter, tremendous fighter in Kosai Tanaka, taking his belt in Japan, dropping him. So this is a tremendous fight. I think this fight is happening in Nicaragua, and so if so, then home plate, is in Chocolatito's favor. You know, home crowd, the home crowd will be behind him. His family, his friends. I mean, there's a lot of pressure performing at home. You know, there's a lot of history with fighters not delivering at home. But Chocolatito in his last fight against Barrera, he put on a vintage performance. Uppercut, body shots, left hooks, pressure. and it was just a vintage performance. So he performed good in his last fight earlier this year in Nicaragua, first fight in 5 years, I think, prior to that. So going back to Nicaragua to have a world title fight against Cafu is I think he will put on a good performance as well. Will it be enough to win the fight? If Chocolatito performed just slight better than he did against Barrera at home, he should be able to beat Cafu and get him out of there. Actually, not just beat him but by stopping him. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about this fight, Chocolatito versus Phumelele Cafu, out of South Africa, the new WBO um, world bantamweight champion at 150 pounds, will be defending based on sources against Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez, a future Hall of Famer and legend, um, in 2025 sometime. I don't think they have a date yet, but that's the source, and it's a fight. Is the fight that's next for both fighters. Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Jose Cruz. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, guys. It is always a pleasure to talk to you guys about boxing, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.